In episode 1, we started our journey with $100 and we got 3 Pokemon cards, one of which was our first holo. Then episode 2 came along, and when the dust settled and cleared, we came away with 53 Pokemon cards. So roughly half the entire base set that we're looking for. And then, in episode 3, thanks to a bunch of sales we made from music CDs and Pokemon cards that we picked up in episode 2, we had enough money in the budget to pick up a Dragonair, a Venusaur holo, and a Blastoise holo. The guy even threw in a free Dratini for us. And of course, who can forget this ridiculous binder we picked up for $20, which contained 8 holos. After 3 episodes, I think it's time we check in. What do we still need? We now have 11 holos out of the original 16 in the base set. We're still missing Chansey, Charizard, Gyarados, Machamp, and Raichu. There's 16 rare cards in the set. Here's what we need: Beedrill, Dugtrio, Electabuzz, Clefairy Doll, Imposter Professor Oak, Item Finder, Lass, and Scoop Up. Which uncommons do we have to pick up, you ask? Good question. Arcanine, Ivysaur, and a double colorless energy. And there's one common we still need. The card I would have wanted to start with. The Pokemon that Ash started with. The one that started it all. The first Pokemon you get in the game that I just showed you in the intro. Pikachu. Where is he? Why is he hiding? Well, now that we know we're still missing 17 cards to reach our goal, let's go. At the end of episode 3, for some reason, I decided to say this. In the next episode, I'll have to start building a bigger bankroll to try to get closer to my goal of getting the Charizard. What? Why did I say that? I'm not ready to get Charizard. What do we have, like $9 in the budget? I think I was high from the nostalgia fumes I inhaled from that amazing binder we picked up. But you know what? Let's try. We will try everything in our power to get him this episode, or at the very least, Pikachu consolation prize. How much money do we have? Okay, $28. Well, we actually don't have $28. I need to go through everything we sold, subtract the shipping and eBay fees, and add that to our budget, but since that's going to take a long time, and I kind of feel like procrastinating right now, let's find out. How much exactly do we need for Charizard? So it looks like we need about $200 for a disgusting Charizard. Alright, that's good to know, I guess. I don't really want that. It's got to be at least somewhat presentable. Now, this one is heavily played and goes for around $300. This is not looking good. I gotta sell a lot of $8 Pink Floyd CDs to come up with $300 right now. Here's a PSA 2 for $330. What's going on? This is crazy. Let me change to eBay sold listings at least. Here we go. So now we're seeing in the sold listings a lightly played Charizard, which is pretty much what we're looking for. Now, I don't know if I would call this card lightly played, but whatever. Maybe that's just me. Anyways, this lightly played Charizard goes for around $380. So the hope at this point is that we find one on Facebook for a little bit cheaper and hopefully in similar looking condition or better looking condition. But I think it's finally time that we tally up the sales to see how much money we actually have to start with this episode. Alright, we're back and sales are done. Unfortunately, while the sales look pretty good, you're going to see that due to shitty circumstances that are completely out of my control, I may have to change the way that I sell for a little while. I hope it's not for too long, and I hope it doesn't really affect my business too much. But yeah, we're going to see, I guess. I'm a little scared right now. Anyways, what did we sell? Well, from Pokemon cards, we sold Dark Kadabra for $2.70. We sold this Magmar from the Fossil set, and another Pidgeotto from base set 2. We also sold that French base set theme box we picked up last episode for $35, also known as $21 after fees. I put it up for auction, starting at $35, since I didn't really see any French base set 1 boxes that sold, so I had no pricing to go off of. We only got one person who bid, but that's good enough for us. We got some heavy hitters also that sold. Check it out. Fist of the North Star on Xbox sold for a little over $42 after shipping and fees. The CSI game sold for a little under $13 after fees. Enslaved Odyssey to the West sold for $12.30 once shipping and eBay got their cut, and the Dreamcast collection sold for $78.50. So after paying the eBay fees and tracked shipping, we got around $58. Don't forget, this was part of the 78 games for $80 deal from episode 1. That means that we technically only paid $1.11 for this game. We technically paid $1.11 for every Xbox game that sells on this series, since it was the only video game deal that we picked up so far. Now let's move on to some of the CDs that we sold, or at least some of the higher priced ones. Metallica and Justice for All sold for a little under $7 after fees. Nevermore, Dead Heart in a Dead World sold for almost $20 on eBay. That put about $13 in our pockets. This Genesis Foxtrot CD sold, and Iron Maiden Power Slave, which we got for free in episode 1, sold for $15.70, and we got to keep about $9.60 from that transaction. Those were just some of the items that sold. Here's everything that we sold. Oh, wow. Wow. So it looks like we're starting off with a budget of almost $265. It's probably not enough for a Charizard, but hey, maybe we'll get lucky. Maybe we'll find him for a good price. Alright, here's a Gyarados for $40. Here's a Chansey, a Machamp, and a Raichu. Definitely something to come back to later. Ah, of course, a base set 2 Charizard for $300. Once again, this is not looking good. Oh, wow. Wow. Sealed base set packs for $4,200. Look, there's the original price tag on the pack. What does it say? Oh my god. Why don't I have like 300 of these stashed in a closet somewhere? I'm so weird. I actually opened these packs when I was a kid. Imagine that. So, as of right now, there's no Charizards that we can get, but I'm gonna make sure that I check pretty consistently and let you guys know when I find one. The good thing is that there's actually every other holo that we need, so this could work out for us either way. Oh, and we just sold this Captain and Tennille CD for about $4.50 after fees, and a Frank Sinatra CD for $2 after fees. You know what? We'll take those $2. We paid around 25 cents for the CD, so even if we sell it for $2, we're making about 8 times the amount that we paid. I'll take 800% profit all day. Alright, I think it's time we talk about this. The Canada Post strike. Yeah, it's absolutely awful. I'm already seeing a huge decrease in my sales. Hell, even if someone does buy something right now, who's to say they'll actually receive it? So now what? As I was thinking of a solution while ignoring the obvious one because that would be a painful and very slow procedure that I don't want to deal with, I got some more bad news. Apparently, I should buy a umbrella on Facebook Marketplace because when it rains, it pours. Now, this isn't challenge related, but a brand new eBay user who signed up on October 24th and who immediately purchased this $145 brand new Sony PS3 controller on October 24th is now claiming that I sold him a counterfeit controller. He also mentioned that eBay should ban me for this. Now, I've had this listed for a while and I've had people ask questions about the controller. He didn't ask me anything. Even with other items, when someone is brand new on eBay, especially when it's a more expensive item, they'll ask a bunch of questions. They'll ask questions like, hey, is it available? That question I don't really get because, well, you're looking at it. So yeah, it's available. This isn't Facebook Marketplace. Or how long will it take to ship? Do I need to sign for the item once it arrives? Or they'll ask, hey, was it shipped? They'll usually ask this 2 or 3 days after I already shipped the item and they receive notification from eBay that the item was in fact shipped. This guy didn't ask me anything. I was suspicious, but none of what I just said is proof that he's trying to take advantage of the situation here at all. I answered the false item claim and I apologized to him. I asked him to explain or describe what about the item was fake. I told him that I got this from a reliable supplier who assured me that this item is authentic and real. Now, let's keep in mind, eBay is saying that I must have this issue resolved by November 7th. So we have about 3 days to find out what's going on. Obviously, the guy never answered again. Why would he answer? Answering would only resolve the situation quicker and get him his money faster. So of course he never replied. By November 6th, after still not getting an answer, I had no choice but to accept the return. I contacted eBay and asked what I can do if he sends back a different item to me. This was basically my number one concern at this point. Then a few days later, he apparently must have paid for his own shipping to send this back to me, because under a different tracking number than the one that I provided and paid for when I accepted the return, I got this package back. And well, take a look.
Counterfeit, I don't want it, refund immediately. So he opened the box because this was in here. Oh, Sony. And look at the controller he put in. No Sony on the controller. So he opened the box. I mean, he clearly opened it. Otherwise, this would still be in the box. And he put in a knockoff controller, because the one that I sold that was in the pictures had Sony on it. How? I don't understand. How is he gonna get away with this?
Then I found something that took my mind off of all that garbage. Something I've been waiting for a while. We found the Charizard. He wants $350 for the Charizard. And you know what? It actually looks to be in pretty good condition. We're at $274 currently. We were at $271, but then we sold NBA 2K7 for the Xbox. So we're short $76 right now. I tried bringing down the price of it by asking if he'd be interested in trading for any cards that I had. I knew I had Mewtwo holo for base set 2 and a Ninetales for base set 2 that we picked up last episode. He wasn't interested in the Mewtwo, but he wanted the Ninetales. So we agreed to a partial trade. I would give him my Ninetales holo for base set 2 plus $320 for his Charizard. I tried giving myself a couple days to make enough money, so I asked if we can meet 2 days later. Hopefully that's enough time. At this point, we only need $46 to get him. So now, my goal is very simple. We need cash, and we need it fast. Now, besides listing a bunch of stuff on Facebook, I was looking for stuff that we can quickly flip on Marketplace within 24 hours. The margins don't even have to be good. We just need something that a lot of people would be interested in, so it sells right away. So I took a few hours just refreshing over and over again on Marketplace. This kind of reminds me of what I mentioned in episode 1 when I said I didn't want to be the type of guy who's just constantly on Facebook, refreshing over and over again, hoping for a good deal. But you know what? Desperate times call for desperate measures here. There were so many good deals. We found this Wii U with 4 really good games for $100. We can probably resell this very quickly for $150. My guess is that all of this is worth roughly around $220. So $150 would be a steal here. We never got an answer. Next deal. This PS2 with a few memory cards and some games for $75. Now, if we want to flip this quickly, we can sell the PS2 for $45. As for the games, for the resellers watching this video, notice anything? Yep, Digimon World 3 right here. It sells for about, I think, $80. So selling this for $40 or even $50, I'm sure can get someone to pass by within 24 hours. Let's not forget all the other pretty good games that are there. So we messaged this person and we waited. Look at this, 3 very popular GameCube games for $20 and 4 good Wii games for $15. Man, I hope she answers. She did. And she told me they're no longer available. What else is new? We're just getting rejected left and right here. Then we found possibly the best deal out of all of them. You're not going to believe this, it is a Pokemon binder again. Look at everything that's here. The only problem this time is that there's pictures of everything that's included, so the chances of us getting this are definitely not as good. I'm not feeling too confident about this right now. Okay, so she answered, and I also got her to agree to mark the listing as pending for us. Now, she's only free in a couple hours, so the hope is that she holds it for a few hours and that she doesn't get some other offer for like $200 or something, which would kind of kill the whole deal. The second that she's available, I'm leaving and picking this up right away. With these types of deals, when it seems like they're too good to be true, normally what happens is that they are, and I normally don't get them. So I'm only going to feel really good about this deal once it's tangibly in my hands and I don't have to worry about anybody else swooping in and trying to grab it from me. So I patiently waited And while waiting, I messaged these two people, hoping I can get one of these deals here. The realization that I probably won't make enough to get the Charizard started sinking in, because sales were still pretty much non-existent. So I listed more items on Facebook Marketplace, trying to increase our odds. I listed a few Xbox games, and the Pokemon cards that we had on eBay. I kind of listed the cards in lots of 15 to 30 cards, rather than just listing the cards one at a time. The only card that was listed by itself is this Mewtwo Base Set 2 Holo for $20. So, as of right now, no update on the binder, which is a good thing. If she's not messaging me to cancel, that's amazing. No reply from the other two people selling a Nintendo Switch though. So I need to come to terms with the fact that I probably will not have enough to get the Charizard. Worst case scenario, I can ask for a few more days if we don't make enough, just to try to buy a bit more time, but with no sales on eBay still, and no sales on Marketplace, I should at the very least try looking for other cards. Then I got two updates, one for a Switch and one for the Pokemon binder. The Switch has been sold, and the girl with the Pokemon binder said someone offered her $60. At this point, I'm fully aware that I'm not getting the binder anymore, and neither is the person that offered $60. I asked if I can match the amount, but by that time, it's over. I'll offer $60 or $80 or $100, then the other person will offer $120 or $150, and then what are we doing? Are we just eventually going to pay the full price for this thing? A lot of times when someone is reserving something amazing for me, someone else will come in, try to get it, and when they hear that they can't get it because it's reserved, they'll think to themselves, well, if I can't have this deal, then no one can. Let me tell them that what they have is worth a lot more money. And as you can see, it looks like that's what happened here. Let's keep looking. At this point, I was feeling incredibly discouraged. Every great deal was being picked up by someone else, or if it wasn't, something else would happen. This is why I stick to DVDs and music CDs. Less people are interested in them, and less people equals less headache. Anyways, I created a backup plan just in case I couldn't pick up the Charizard, and I messaged the person from earlier in the video who had the Chansey, the Machamp, and the Raichu. I tried asking if he'd be interested in a trade involving his Chansey and my Mewtwo Base Set 2, since the cards seemed to have pretty equal value. He told me he wasn't interested. Nobody wants this card. Then we got two messages coming in at the same time. The first message was one of the people I messaged who had a Nintendo Switch. He said it's still available and he'd like to know when I'd like to meet. Now, I don't really have an option here. I can't choose when I'd like to meet because if I don't leave right now to pick up this Nintendo Switch for $150, I'm never going to be able to see it. Even if I leave right now, there's still a chance that when I'm on my way there and 5 minutes away, he'll tell me something like, oh, well, somebody just offered me $80 more, so I'm sorry, I'm not going to sell it to you. And I pretty much went for nothing. Yep, that's happened to me before too. So I told him I can be there in 20 minutes. So I went, I picked up the Switch, and I came back home. Finally, a great deal. Now that was the first message we got. On to message number 2. The guy with the Chansey asks me something that completely throws me off guard. He asks me if I make YouTube videos. Yep, that's right. We can't even go on Facebook Marketplace anymore without someone recognizing us. Damn. It's not easy being famous, let me tell you. I go to the store nowadays, I gotta sign autographs for like half an hour. I got people saying, Poke Addiction, will you sign my Charizard? How come I have one and you don't, you loser? I'll stop being delusional, I'm sorry. Somehow, with the very limited amount of reach my videos have gotten, we actually found someone who watches the channel. It's really cool. This kind of interaction will probably never happen to me again, so I wanted to make sure to include it in the video. Anyways, we part ways with him leaving me with some solid piece of advice, and the journey continues. Now we have this Switch, it's been tested, it works perfectly, and we have around 40 hours to come up with $206. If you take a quick look at the marketplace sold listings for Nintendo Switch consoles, it looks like they sell pretty consistently for $250. So we listed ours at $230. And you know what? The next day, it sold. Not just that, but we also sold the Mewtwo Holo for $20. I had to go drive 20 minutes to the guy to actually sell the Mewtwo, but that's fine. It's gone. So now, with a little under 24 hours to go, we now have enough money in the budget. Currently, we're sitting at $374. We did it. There's nothing that will prevent us from using this money to get the Charizard. Or so I thought. This whole Canada Post situation has been really messing with me. So I started thinking outside of the box a bit. Now, we have enough money, yes, but if sales continue being this slow, I have no chance at getting the rest of the cards. I don't want to spend almost the entire budget on this one card, and then I don't make enough to get the rest of the cards, and I'm just sitting around waiting 2 months or something just to have enough money to pick up another card or two. I don't know how long this Canada Post strike will last. And I don't know how quickly my stuff will sell on Facebook Marketplace. But here's what I do know. This deal right here is amazing, and we have enough money for it. I want to be able to get the Charizard and then have more stuff that we can sell very quickly on Marketplace. I don't want to get the whole base set by just barely scraping by. So we have a new goal now. It's definitely pretty stupid since it can clearly backfire, but here it is. We pick up this lot with all of his games. That will cost us about $340. So then we'll be at $34 left in the budget. Then, within the next 24 hours, we need to sell this console for $230, and then we need to sell 2 more of these games for at least $40 each. And we need to do all this before tomorrow afternoon, so we have enough to pick up the Charizard. Now, it looks like the console should sell within 24 hours, and weirdly enough, I actually already have a buyer for Super Mario Odyssey. I'll explain that once we pick up everything. So realistically, it doesn't really seem that risky. And if we can sell what we need within 24 hours, the rest of the games that are left should sell pretty quickly also, and that should give us enough cash to get the entire base set. So we picked up everything, and I started listing it all on Facebook. The realization of the potentially stupid mistake that I made started sinking in. What if I can't sell this by tomorrow morning? What if my buyer for Mario Odyssey doesn't show? What if I can only sell the stuff I just picked up by next week? Will the seller wait for me? Probably not. Luckily, the buyer for Mario Odyssey was really interested, so she came. I had listed a Mario Odyssey game a couple days ago. This was not related to this challenge. And what happened was that she was really interested, but I had a buyer who messaged me before her, so I said I'd let her know if the buyer doesn't show up, so she can pass by and get it herself. Well, the buyer did show up, and I just now got another copy of the game, so I sold it to her for $45. So we're $45 closer to our goal. On to the next sale. We receive a message. Dude wants Mario Kart for $50. This is amazing. These games are flying off the shelf. Let's hope he shows up. Oh, he says he also wants Super Smash Bros. That's another $50. Perfect. We meet up, the transaction goes smoothly, and now we're $100 closer to our goal. What are we at now? We're at about $180. We just sold $145 worth of games in about an hour. Where's Owen? Wow. Wow. Thank you, Owen. So things are looking great, actually. Then we get a message for the Switch. This is it. Oh, never mind. Some guy sent a message saying $160. Good thing I said the price is firm in the description. Thanks for that, Bobbly. Then we got a glimmer of hope. Someone messaged me for an Xbox 360 and for the Nintendo Switch. He said he can come by the following morning, the day that we're supposed to go pick up the Charizard. If he doesn't show up, I gotta postpone the meeting with the Charizard guy. The next morning came, and I went to go meet him.
Alright, he just got here, and I'm gonna see if he wants to buy both of these. Hopefully by the time I come back, these two are gone and I got the cash. Wish me luck. We're back. We did it.
We made the sale. From this $270 sale, $230 goes towards the budget of this challenge, which now puts us at $409, right in time to go pick up the Charizard. The guy lives about an hour away, so no time to celebrate. Let's get the hell out of here, grab the Ninetales, and go pick up the card. What a stressful episode. Well, that's it for this episode. This has been by far the most challenging and difficult episode to date, not just because of the cost of the Charizard, but also because I tried to get him when sales hit an all-time low. But I wanted to show you and also remind myself that when something goes wrong or something unexpected happens that you weren't necessarily planning for, don't give up. Find another solution. If you try, you'll figure it out, whatever your issue is. If there was one card that deserved a 20+ minute video in this entire set, it's Charizard. And now the journey continues, and we're one card closer to completing our goal until we move on to our next set. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next episode.